We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
It's time for Side Scrollers with me, Stuttering Craig. You decide when you lose, not other people. And Blabs.
I like pickles.
And co-hosted by our friends from around the internet. If you like common sense, hit that thumbs up button and, of course, the subscribe button. And join us Monday through Friday live at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on God's green earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and SideScrollersPodcast.com. What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday to you. I'm Stuttering Craig. Yes, it appears I'm underwater, but that's okay. I'm back out of it. Here we are. Good to see you guys. Man, oh man, do we have so much to talk about today. It's crazy. It's like the internet just continues to give and give and give in this cloud world that we live in. Good to see everybody. Hello, Blabs. Great to see you.
Hello! I love how the chat was like, Blabs picked this video. It wasn't even me this time. This time, it was Craig.
It was,
and also, chat's saying Craig the Plumber still, which is hilarious. So
I know. Do you see my name?
Oh, I didn't even realize that. That's funny.
That's right. That's right. And I can absolutely tell you that the sync does work 100% now. We're good. Everything's back to normal. Plumbers are great. They're expensive, though. Yeah. Hey, we had this nice conversation last night about starting a business, like talking to my daughters about how the plumber ripped us off. And they're like, we should be a plumber. I was like, no, you should own the plumbing business. That's how it works right there. So a nice little entrepreneurship opportunity here. But I'll tell you what.
She'll go for plumbing. It'd be perfect.
What's that, Blabs? One more time?
Instead of going to college, own a plumbing business. Perfect.
Dude, that's powerful women right there. Yeah, I agree. That'd be a great thing.
Also, if she has a plumber's crack, dudes will totally dig it too, and they might shell out more.
You're out. Joining us today, it is Friday. It's Malcolm. Malcolm, great to see you. How are you?
It is so great to see you and be here today.
Are you going to make any inappropriate jokes about my 12-year-old daughter having a plumber's crack?
Not when she's 12, you freak!
Wait, did I make a joke like that at some point? What is this a reference to?
Oh
my gosh.
Not when she's 12. What, adult women plumbers? Dude, they would make a shit ton of money because all the guys would be like, any type of woman out there working for plumbers. Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for that, Blabs. Are you going to transition into a plumber here soon?
No, I don't think so. I don't like a draft.
Don't like the draft?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, Malcolm, great to see you.
You know, you don't have to do that if you're a plumber, right? It's not a requirement.
Yeah. It's not a requirement to just show your ass.
Is that what you tell the plumbers who come to your house? You're going to get in big trouble with the law one day.
I've never seen a plumber.
Lab's sitting back going like...
Be like, hey, I need you to pull those pants down a little bit, buddy. You know what I paid for. Plumber's crack right here.
Instead of the strip club, it's the plumbers.
That's right. Blab starts throwing ones down at the plumber as he's fixing the sink, the toilet.
I like how you work.
Hey, show me more, baby. Ridiculous. Well, welcome to the show, Malcolm. Glad you're here.
Hi.
Today, actually, a first-time guest. I'm really excited to have this gentleman on. Sorry to assume your gender, but it's Kongman Lee. Hello, how are you?
How dare you assume my gender? But for the record, I am a feminist, so I agree with Blabs. I think that women should just do everything. Men should not do anything. Men should just sit on the sidelines. Women should do the plumbing. They should change the tires. They should do everything for us because,
you know, your car will fall apart, but that's fine.
Yeah, but you know, I'm a feminist, man. Women should do everything. A guy shouldn't do anything. Yeah, it's great.
This feminist game was a good run for a while.
Quality. Blabs, can you change your tire?
I actually have changed tires. Yes.
Good for you. I think that's a very valuable skill. You need to be able to change your tire. You need to be able to change your battery, things like that. Change your oil.
Listen, the other day I vacuumed my own car and I put windshield wiper fluid in it by myself.
Wow, you vacuumed, Blabs.
Nails like so
Way to
hard.
play into the ridiculous stereotypes, Blabs, of going in and vacuuming. Congratulations.
Dude, it was bad. There was a lot of salt and stuff from the winter, and then I'm like, shh. And you know what? You know that sound when vacuums pick up all the rocks, and you're like, yes, get all that shit out of there. It's satisfying.
Sounds awesome, Blabs. Cool story. That's great.
I don't care.
You are.
2 in a row. There we go. 2 days in a row. Well, glad you guys have joined us today. Real quick, tell everybody about you, those who aren't familiar with you. Please fill everybody in about who you are, as Malcolm's been on the show several times, so hopefully people have a pretty good idea who Malcolm is at this point.
Yeah, so I was Master Soul in the Acolyte. I was also in Squid Game. And,
oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're all just the same people, you know? We're all the same person.
Good. Congratulations.
What a shite show that show was, huh? The Acolyte. But
you know how much time I spent on it?
0?
0 seconds, because my background in Star Wars goes like this. I've seen each Star Wars film 1 time.
Mhm.
And Star Wars is just like a thing to me. I've never been super devoted to it, but I will say this about the Acolyte. I wish I had something that was like a sole property. Like, you could say that gaming is burning down right now, and that's fine. But if there was like a sole property, like if Nintendo decided to take Mario and just burn it to the ground, I could make videos about it all day, like all the Star Wars fans do, and this channel would blow up. It would be awesome. I kind of wish I had something like that, but also I do appreciate that I have, I still have somewhat of my the things that I like are still pure in some way, shape, or form. So
yeah, it's just, even for me, I'm not like an ardent Star Wars fan. I'm a normie Star Wars fan. I thought, this is controversial, I understand, but I thought the prequel trilogy was better than the original trilogy. I enjoyed it. There's a nostalgia attached to it. Okay, I grew up watching those in theaters.
Same.
I wasn't alive when the original trilogy came out, and so there's little like General Grievous. I mean, it's just, I love that. But it's like, even for me as a normie Star Wars fan, I mean, Disney Star Wars is just tanking it to the ground, burning it to the ground. Got to make it the gayest Star Wars ever. The Force is female. It's good stuff. Lesbian space witches, yeah. Lizzo, we love it.
What I love about the prequel series is what the writers did is they just took a bunch of racial stereotypes and then made them like characters or personified forces in the Star Wars universe, and then just let it play out. Like, you had the Japanese coded like the business aliens, you had the Jewish coded like slaver alien, you had the Jamaican coded I forgot what, Jar Jar Binks. Just everyone was like a racial stereotype, and it's like, throw them in a pot, see how they interact. You could never get away with making that these days.
I mean, just like the last episode, it's like, we'll have the main character kill the other main character, and I don't want to, talk about Asian hate or whatever, but it's just like, a little too on the nail, a little too on the nose, don't you think, Disney?
Wow, look at that, man! You are. That's something that should be brought up. I feel like it should be discussed in today's.
In a galaxy far, far away, like, Asian hate is still prevalent.
I'm sorry you have to deal with that, Kangman.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. It is white supremacy at work, after all.
True that. All right.
But, sorry. Anyways, original question was, introduce me, right? Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What are you doing?
I share my thoughts on faith, politics, and pop culture, entertainment, all that stuff. Because, for me, I'm not like a super cinemaphile. I'm not like crazy gamer. I'm a normie. I just enjoy film because of the art of it. I love good stories. I love games because I like to, step back and just hang out with bros and sisters, the sisters who do play, and just have a good time, But then they start to I remember the moment, I remember this for the rest of my life. I was playing COD Warzone during COVID, And then the moment I pop up, I log in and then get into the lobby. There's a screen that says, Activision stands with Black Lives Matter. We hate races. We condemn it. I'm just like, your lobbies are full. It's like, are you serious right now? And I'm just like, like, it's so annoying that they keep injecting this nonsense into all of these, the things that we love and enjoy, our films, our animations, our shows, our games. And I'm like, this is why I speak on these things, because like I just wanted to be left alone. And I realized that's just not a solution anymore. So I just speak out on all these issues. And of course, a lot of it from a Christian perspective, because I'm a Christian.
Well, it sounds like you're just a normal man.
We're just normal men.
Well, truly, I truly am. I really like my beliefs is just like a normal person from 10 years ago. And just in the past 10 years, things has just gone bonkers.
Yeah.
I don't know. This all sounds like code for transphobe and racist. That's what normal men is code for these days.
Truly.
It's funny. I was watching. We're going to get a little bit into the Hulk Hogan stuff in a little bit. But last night, I talk all the time about this show, like just it's built around common sense, right? And last night I was watching it, and they had the show was like, these people were holding up these signs like, bring back common sense. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sure somebody's going to be like, oh, look at Craig. It's a dog whistle or something along those lines. So we'll see how that goes. But
common sense is a dog whistle for transphobia. So I better not hear that type of language on this show.
Okay. Well, we're going to
watch those microaggressions.
Yeah, crazy. Well, I'll tell you what, we have a great show ahead of us. We got so much to talk about. We're going to get it. We're going to be getting into some noticeable deaths. We have a Gingercide that's happening that has been well documented, 65 million views over on X. We're going to get into Assassin's Creed Shadows and how it's gay. Also, Concord, the beta, and be an absolute failure. We also have some really good examples of some video game journalism, which has gone awry, as well as the world going into absolute chaos today, as work PCs around the world are not able to be booted up, like millions and millions of PCs, as some are calling it the cyber apocalypse, which is just crazy to think about. But they warned us, so here we are. But first, I'd like to remind you guys, we are live over at rumble.com/sidescrollers. Do us a favor, hit the follow button over there as we continue to grow a little bit more every single day. Blabs, why do we love Rumble?
Because it grows organically.
That's right. You also could have found out that Malcolm and Kongman were going to be on the show by following us over at X. And you can also watch the show over at x.com/sidescrollerpod. We also have an Instagram account, don't we, Blabs?
We do, so follow some memes and clips of the show. And I have to say that one of the latest posts I put over there, which was me, the obsessive girlfriend meme, did really, really well.
Oh, I mean, there it is. That is you in the best way possible. Let's get a closer look at Blabs being crazy. There she is right there. This is a real face that Blabs made a couple days ago on the show. And I'd like to thank you for the best thumbnail face ever.
Context is that Craig was doing like his 5th hot sauce challenge, and I was really happy he was suffering.
She was happy that I was downing incredibly hot sauce.
Yeah, over 230 likes over on Instagram for the meme. So.
Oh, that's good. Good stuff. Well, we also have a Kick account, and you can listen to the show over on Apple Podcast and Spotify, which we encourage you guys to do. If you don't want to stare at our ugly faces, you can do that over there. You can also find us over at sidescrollerspodcast.com, which links to our locals page as we continue to grow over there, which is great. Speaking of growing, we are past 88,400 just normal men who love common sense in the video game and entertainment world over here on YouTube. So if you're new, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and continue to join us. We're currently sitting at 88,429 as I currently look at my phone. 1,000 likes is the goal and 25 memberships every single show. Let's see if we can do that. Of course, I'd like to remind you guys that today's episode is brought to you by The Real Game Awards. Make sure you guys head over there and become voting members at therealgameawards.com as we continue to grow just past 350 voting members over there. And I made a decision yesterday, which I will be announcing here sometime next week. I got to do a little bit of research, but I made a stone cold hard decision about the Real Game Awards, which I can't wait to share with you guys very, very soon. So should be really fun. With that said, Blabs, please fill us in on today in video game history.
Yeah, so made a little bit of a boo-boo on this one today, so I'm just retarded. But on July 19th, Mike Tyson heavyweight boxing, it was released in 2002, and this is where I made the mistake for the years. I accidentally forgot to update the years at the bottom. Captain America, the Super Soldier, was released back in 2011, but it's not 18 years old.
Yeah,
I forgot to scribble over it like a little child and be like, oopsies. But then we have Kirby's Dream Collection Special Edition, which was released in 2012. And I bet you Craig has played the Kirby Dream Collection.
No.
What?
I've not played the Kirby Dream Collection.
Oh, well, there you go. I failed.
Yeah. You guys played any of those games?
No.
No. Yeah.
I'm a huge Kirby guy, but my favorite Kirby game was Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland on the Game Boy. Just incredible game. That game was incredible. And then also, Kirby, of course, is the one character that every girl plays in Smash because they don't know what to do, so they just keep hopping in the air.
Yeah, I just like that he eats people.
Hey, I'll tell you this right now. I got this a couple days ago. The World Championships NES edition. This is like a mini game collection on 13 different NES games. Wow. By the way, you can see it comes with this cool little. This is pretty awesome. So I don't know if you guys know the story about the Nintendo World Championships. Do you guys know the story?
I don't.
The whole idea.
Tell us.
What's that?
Tell us, Grandfather Craig.
Fill us in.
Well, here you go, children. Let me tell you. So in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a big video game competition called the Nintendo World Championships. And that's what this whole thing is built around. This is built around these old games or these classic games. I hate to use the word old, but they're classic games. And there was a big video game competition, and the long and short of it was the winner of this big nationwide competition in all the different age groups got a gold cart for the Nintendo World Championships. The actual cart that you played, the cart included 3 games. It was like a sliced up version of 3 games. So you played a game called Rad Racer, Super Mario Brothers, and Tetris, and it was all built around time. Anyways, the winner got these like gold carts, and this is not one of them. This is like a replica. But the gold carts sell, like a decade ago, they were selling for like $20,000, right? So their value is ridiculous. They're super rare. And those like old heads like me who love like classic games, like this is super duper fun. So I encourage everyone to kind of check this out. This is a really, I thought this was going to be kind of lazy. It's not. They did a really good job with it. And if you like the old stuff, then definitely consider checking that out. So anyways, that's my ringing endorsement.
Chat says the Captain America Super Soldier was an okay video game. So I've done something correct today, just not the date. But listen, since we're on this topic, I'm going to share this because Craig might actually like this. This has just been announced. By popular demand, all physical pre-orders of Sonic X Shadow Generations will include a reversible cover featuring the Japanese art for the game. Double the art, double the funds. I'm going to mute that just in case. But so that's the 2 different covers so you can
That's
get
fun.
So I don't know if anybody's a Sonic fan out there, but there you go.
Well, I think that's good. The idea that I've never really understood the idea of like a Japanese cover versus an American cover, right? Like at the same time, like in 1985, okay, right? In 2024, doesn't make sense. It was ever since social media became a thing and the ability to transmit data like that. I mean, like, what's the point? So I realize there are cultural differences, but if you go back to that and you look at the differences between the covers, it's like, really? Like, do we really need that? So I think that's actually a nice little addition, a nice little perk to buy the physical, the idea that you get both of them.
Yeah.
As another old person story here for the young ones, when you would buy a game back in the day, before they moved to the standardized small boxes, which was a huge thing when this happened, you would get these giant, awesome manuals. And I used to spend just like the whole car ride back, the whole day before, because they took like 4 hours to install on your computer, reading and rereading. And there was like this whole art to them, the old manuals, and you can still find them some places.
Yeah, manuals in video games were awesome. They're super good. And that's actually one of the things that in this game, there's some references to, there's digital versions of what used to be in the Nintendo Power magazines. I don't know, Kongman, if you're familiar with the old Nintendo Power magazines, but
I went through those a lot.
Yeah. So they had, it was like where you got your tips and tricks back in the day. And as part of the tips and tricks, they have this section called classified information. Anyways, they have classified information to help you get through some of the harder challenges in the game. So it's pretty fun. It's a nice little nod to the old school life. And I appreciate that Nintendo does a very good job of innovating nostalgia. I think that's the best way to describe it. They take nostalgia and they innovate it and bring it into 2024. All right. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. Like I said, first I want to point out some wonderful super chats before we get into hard news. Absolutely Ready says, remember when Hogan said in the Gawker trial that Hulk Hogan is packing 10 inches in his pants? But Terry Bollea isn't. Now that's a promo, brother. Well, we're going to get into Hulk Hogan in just a few minutes. Miku says, who would you like to give the Hogan leg drop to? Good question. I would start with several video game journalists and work my way down.
That's a good place to start for sure.
Cogman, you got anybody that you like to give a Hogan leg drop to?
Probably. I don't like internet beef, but I'm just gonna call out Mighty Keith. Do you guys know who Mighty Keith is? He's a YouTuber.
Not really.
He after me on social media, so I fired back at him on X, and we just kept going back and forth. So if I could, I'll give a Hogan leg drop to him.
Like there's people that I guess are pretty prominent on the other side that I have no idea who these people are.
Yeah.
And
I have no idea either. And it's like for me, like I don't go after people; they just always come after me. So I'm like, okay, if you're gonna start a fight, then I'm not gonna just be a doormat. And then eventually they run away with their tail between their legs because they just literally cannot hold an argument against me. And I'm not like, I'm Asian, I get it, but I don't even think that I'm like super smart. But yeah, I would definitely give the Hulk Hogan leg drop to Mr. Mighty Keith.
Sounds great.
I love the optics of Hulk Hogan getting involved with presidential politics here. It's very President Camacho from Idiocracy, going from professional wrestling into politics. We need to see that.
Well, you'll see it in just a little bit. Once again, everybody here's seen Hulk Hogan at the RNC except for Malcolm, which is great. So we're gonna.
I actually haven't seen a whole lot. I know he was there and everything, but I've not played anything. I kind of skip over a lot of stuff when it comes to politics. I'm like, something else, please.
But see, I totally understand that, and usually, like last night at the RNC, like the world of entertainment and politics really like. When you talk about the Venn diagram, it was there's a lot of space that met in the middle. And, but the Hulk Hogan, I mean, it was pretty spectacular. Once again, we'll get to that in just a little bit. Nesnick says sticking bills in the crack. That's Blabs over there with the plumber over there.
Well, to top that one off on locals, Rogo Next 666 sent $1 tip saying Craig wears low-rise skinny jeans when he's plumbing.
That's right. Let everybody see what they want. It's good. I know what you want. Ian the Icarus says, can't wait to be called a fascist for saying, hell yeah, brother. Thank you. Appreciate that, Ian the Icarus. Vagabundo is back. What's up, Devon? Good to see you. Says, hail Kongman. And hail my N-word Craig. And hail Lab. Let's go. You're my boy. You know that. Am I allowed to say that? You're my boy? It's really funny. Really funny. I was...
It implies ownership. You said my boy. I don't know.
Okay. This is no joke. This is a real thing that happened a couple days ago. So my daughter went to go play some volleyball at this big arena, right? And there's volleyball courts and there's basketball courts. And as we're walking in, we're walking behind a coach and his player. And the player opens up the door for the coach. And the player happens to be white. The coach happens to be black, right? And the player, like, he's like this 14-year-old kid, and he goes, let's go, boy. And then and the coach thinks nothing of it, right? Because this is just this guy. This is like if he was talking to his friends or whatever, right? And this poor little white kid goes, oh, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean it in a racist way. I'm sorry.
The fact that we even have to go there now, it's just sad.
But the coach said nothing, and he started backtracking immediately. It was spectacular.
That's kind of cute, though.
It was great, man. Oh my God! Primarch came in and says, "Did you change your did you change your blinker fluid too, Blabs? Do you know anything about your blinker fluid?"
That's not a thing, is it?
I had a girl. The fact that if you just left it without "is it," that would have been really
That's
good.
not a thing though. But then I'm like, I don't know a whole lot about cars. Maybe they're trying to trick me. But no, there's no such thing as a blinker fluid. It's all electric. Wires.
Jack says never update software unless the new version is tried and true for years. Never underestimate the ability of modern corporations to criff things up. Thank you very much.
Are you guys following the Microsoft blackout right now? Breaking news. I think that's what he's referencing.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to be getting into that in just a little bit for sure. Magnum came in and says, how about we don't talk about the Acolyte? Just a question. Kongman Ree. I'm partially Mongolian, therefore fist bump, and I am your father.
Yeah, Mongolian Koreans were basically the same. To be fair, though, when like Genghis Khan took over like most of Asia, he did take over Korea as well. So I probably have some Mongolian blood in me as well.
Norm Al Man came in and says, who would have thought that the RNC had better wrestling content than in the last 20 years than our WWE? Listen, Norm Al Man, I appreciate that, but you clearly didn't watch WrestleMania this year because that was spectacular.
I don't watch wrestling, but I've seen some clips of Logan Paul, and
yeah, he's good.
He's good. He's good.
He is.
He's very
really
entertaining.
good.
Yeah.
Yes, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Flostone Paradise says, guys, it's Y2Ghey. I think you appreciate that.
That's very good.
Mr. Gullis says, Craig is the forgotten Mario brother. Craig didn't want to do mushrooms and was afraid to jump on sewer turtles and can't prescribe pills, so he was forgotten. Thank you, Master Gawa. CRS Chaos says, well, gingers and black people do a lot. Gingers and black people do a lot in common. Gingers is an interesting anagram for something. Okay, thank you, Chaos. Jonathan came in and says, rip Halo series, the last thing the 2013 Xbox One event gave us, and it died like the Xbox One. Also, my birthday is today, and Final Fantasy X 10 turned 23 today as well. Jonathan,
Happy birthday.
Hey, congratulations. Just want to let you know, Dan Vasquez here with a very special message for you.
Happy, much happy birthday for you.
There you go. Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate that. Magnum came in with another 10. Says AC Shadows is more gay than Richard Simmons at a hot dog eating contest with chili cheese on top. Never let Dookie go unswallowed. All right. Thanks, Magnum. No, appreciate that. And Dev came in with the $5 Canadian money. He says, thanks for having me on yesterday, Craig and Blabs. You guys helped a lot. Many people have been understanding. Many have not, but that's expected. Yeah, that was chaotic yesterday for sure. Ian came in with 10 gifted memberships. Ian, thank you very much. Genuinely appreciate that. If you guys got gifted membership, make sure you say a thank you. And Blabs has a special message for you.
It will.
Here we go.
What?
Yeah.
Calvin knows what's up. He knows.
Whoa, I was not expecting that from Blabs.
And Devon came back, says, and Kongman, I would leg drop Keith too. Craig, I do yell out boy to other drivers that call me. Just
Reading that.
Vagabundo, my boy. Appreciate you, brother.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. Thanks. All right, Andrew came in and says the RNC went from shrewish soccer moms and evangelical ramblers to hot chicks and Hulk Hogan. Yeah, man, that's pretty funny to watch. All right. Look, we could go. We see all your super chats. We see all your direct donations. We see every single one of them. We're gonna read every single one of them, every single Rumble rant as well throughout the show. But first, we're about 30 minutes in. We haven't even got to the hard news. So let's get into it. It's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for hard news. Hard news. All right, gentlemen and ladies, we have noticeable deaths to talk about first and foremost in the entertainment and video game world. First thing, right off the bat, this has been referenced in a couple super chats. The first noticeable death is the death of the Halo live action series, friends. It is over after 2 seasons. Did anybody watch the Halo live action series?
No, but I watched the live stream of friends doing the reviews for it, so I know what happens, even though I know nothing about Halo. And it was trash. Even just listening to them talk about how trash everything is. Yeah, so no one's sad about this.
Go ahead, Malcolm.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know what they were thinking was the direction they took it in. And just from what I heard about it, to create, what was it? They tried to create a new canon or something, and
well, they say it wasn't even this. This isn't even canon to begin with. This show, they
Yes.
say they like put a safety net for themselves.
So then that's like it's then not required watching. It's a fan fiction. It's a fan fiction done by their DEI department or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he never had his helmet on.
Yeah, it's like that's integral for Master Chief. The helmet stays on. I haven't watched it. I haven't been a huge Halo fan. When I was younger, my mom didn't let me play Halo because it was too violent. But from what I see, I just had no interest in watching it. It just didn't look great at all.
Well, I'll say this, this is pointed out. Halo was canceled after 2 seasons because its creators did not respect the source material or Halo fans, and because Master Chief refused to wear his damn helmet. How hard is it to make a good Halo show? Just stick to what made the games great. Quit trying to make it your own thing. Oh man, how many times have we seen this? Quit trying to make your own thing. It's not. Adapt things faithfully, like Fallout and Arcane or The Last of Us, right?
Like, I think it's a bit funny, that statement, because The Last of Us is not from what I hear, is not a good show.
Yeah, well, I don't think just make it like Arcane, only like one of the best shows I think made in like the past 2 decades.
Right.
You just copy what Arcane did.
And I heard Fallout itself too isn't even exactly faithful. Like, there's some lore breaking points in there too.
It was date of the
there's some years that are mixed up.
I'm a huge Fallout fanatic, and I don't mind where they broke the plot line. I thought it was great. I thought the Fallout show was great. But I don't think they intended to break the plot line. It wasn't like they went into it and decided that. They had the problem.
I heard it was a good show. It was just like it did break some lore, but people still enjoyed it regardless.
Yeah.
But you see this all the time where it's almost like, look, we're all very basic people. Like, I think if you have something that you like, whether it's Halo, whether it's, pick any IP that you like, really all you need to do is adapt it pretty much beat for beat from whatever made it great over to new adaptation, right? Whether it's like they could have just taken the story from Halo 1 and retold it in series form, and people been like, yes, amazing, it's the best. But they didn't. They had to do their own thing. And how many times have we seen this where somebody new gets a hold of it and they're like, I can do it better. And the reality is that they tried to turn it into their own thing. I don't know, like we were talking about this Gongman, the Acolyte, and all of a sudden it's something totally different by the time it's all said and done. So it's almost like a tale as old as time.
It's mind-boggling to me, because of course you can take creative liberties in certain regards regarding the plot or the characters and their decisions and things like that. But I just do not think it's that hard. I mean, just look at the Mario movie. It's not hard at all to please your fans. You'd have tons and tons of, elements from an existing IP where you can satisfy your fans. You can have Easter eggs in there easily and your fans will go crazy. But then so many times studios take video games IPs or any existing IP, and then they just take the lore, they take the characters, they take everything about the world, they just throw it out the window, and they're like, you know what? We can do it better. And then it's just like insert like race swap, insert, lesbian relationship here. And it's mind-boggling to me. It's like, what did you think you were doing? Like, I don't understand. Like, we've gone so far past the old, like, I love when I watch interviews of Peter Jackson talking about the Lord of the Rings series. He's like, it's not my job to bring my own interpretation into this. I want to faithfully tell, J.R.R. Tolkien's story to the best of my ability, the way that he would want it. And that's all fans want. And yeah, sure, you can take little creative liberties here and there. That's what Peter Jackson did with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And you can do that with any video game adaptation. You can do that with any adaptation of an existing IP. But still staying faithful to the lore as much as possible to, satisfy your already pre-existing fans. I don't understand why that's so hard to do.
I think the reason why we get these mistakes over and over again is the way that these shows end up getting greenlit. leads to creatives working on them who aren't super fans of the original works. And so when they try to, like with Acolyte, remember, she mentioned that like she wasn't that much of a fan of Star Wars, and that is part of what made her qualified, because she was going to try weirder things. When I think if you look at good Star Wars spinoffs, you can look at something like Clone Wars. Clone Wars, the cartoon, genuinely tried something new, and I think it was some of the best Star Wars content ever produced. It might actually be my favorite single piece of Star Wars content above the original or the
Clone Wars show.
The Clone Wars show, yeah.
Well, like Dave Filoni's Clone Wars show, or like the original one?
No, so there was two. There was one earlier one that was only like one season, and it was like animated in a weird way. Didn't like that at all. Then there was the follow-up that introduced the Ahsoka character and stuff like that. I loved that, especially the later seasons.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot too, but I do understand that it breaks a lot of lore, and a lot of stuff shouldn't exist, and a lot of people agree about it and all that. But for what it is, I did have fun watching that show.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like the people who make all the creative decisions, the directors, even the producers and the writers of all of these shows, like when interviewed, they're like, I don't know anything about this. I just did whatever I wanted to. And they don't know anything about the lore. They don't know anything about the story. They don't know anything about the character, the world. And so they just like make things up as you go. That's how you get things like, what's her name? Osha. I didn't even watch the Acolyte, but I saw her like basically the lightsaber turned into a mood ring. And
yeah.
No, like lightsabers are they're literally made beforehand, and they have a color that's made beforehand by a sorry, what was the rock called that's
like Kyber crystal?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And it's like what? Now it's a mood ring? It's insane to me. Like Leslie Headland just was like, well, let's just make it into a mood ring because that'll signify her becoming evil. Oh.
Yeah, well, that was the problem with the show, is that they hired people who knew nothing about Star Wars, and they were proud of it. Like, oh, we hired all these people. They know nothing about Star Wars. This is going to be great. And it's like, well, no.
I believe you could corrupt a Kyber crystal to create red.
You could bleed it, but that was a Disney thing. Supposedly.
Oh, that was a Disney thing? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But to the point of why this keeps happening, it keeps happening because what happens is a studio's like, I want to do a Halo thing. So then they buy licensing for the Halo brand. And then because that's like a very hard like legal deal to do. And then they're like, who's the director that I like right now or who's up and coming? And then they pair them with the project, which isn't the way projects like this should be done. You should look for somebody who has like a popular fan fiction within a particular world, take them and say, hey, clearly fans of this world like the work that you're producing. You're good at writing in this. Now, why don't you write for the product that we just purchased? And you would get much better stories.
Well, I'll tell you, talking about better stories. I Am the Icarus came in with the two, says 95 Mortal Kombat was an amazing video game movie. And like, that was back when Mortal Kombat was just kind of getting started, but it was also kind of cheesy, but it was fun. That's what Mortal Kombat was at the time. And it was good stuff.
And the music and the sequel were great too.
Magnum came in and says, how about don't destroy the formula when you make a movie? That's right. Thanks, Magnum. Appreciate that. Normal Man came back, says, the companies making video game adaptations care more about the imagery than the substance of the IP they're adapting. Thanks, Norm Al, man. Appreciate that. And Nathan came in and says, the best thing to show from the Halo show was Shad's rant.
Best thing to come from the Halo show was Shad's rant about the Banshee crash scene on his second appearance on FNT. One of the best rants ever. Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan. Thanks, Blabs. Sometimes reading is tough for me at the ripe old age of 43. Magnum came in and says, Empire craps on any Filoni Fugazi. Thank you very much.
It's so funny to say that because, like, as Malcolm was saying, we both really enjoyed the Clone Wars, and that was Dave Filoni's baby. And now this is Disney Star Wars is still Dave Filoni's baby. So, like, the fact that he went from I get you totally ruining the original lore, stuff like that from the books, but now you're ruining your own lore with Disney Star Wars. Like, he's going back and contradicting himself. So it's like, what are you doing? You're an idiot.
We need to save property from the hands of its aging directors. This was an old South Park thing.
He's putting his own spin on it. Hey, absolutely ready. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thanks for becoming a member. Genuinely appreciate that. Let's go and move on. We had another noticeable death in addition to the Halo series. This one is, time is undefeated, right? We all know that. And I don't know if you guys have any long thoughts about or anything at all about Bob Newhart. But Bob Newhart passed away at 94 years old. And do you guys have any? Bob
He
Newhart
was
is
in Young Sheldon. What was it? Big Bang Theory, I should say.
well. Bob Newhart was in everything, and he was definitely a product. I mean, 94 years old. You're talking about a guy who's been around. He's been alive since 1929, right? But Bob Newhart, legendary, just from being extremely deadpan. Started his doing comedy albums in 1958. Then he had the Bob Newhart Show from 1972 to 1978, and it was that was a mega hit in the 70s. And keep in mind, this is when there were 3 TV channels, right? So if you had a TV show, you had 15, 20 million people watching you on a week-to-week basis. And then he had another show called Newhart from 1982 to 1990. So he's been, he's been in a lot of movies. People would recognize him from like Elf. He was the
oh yeah,
right?
he was the dad, wasn't he?
Yes,
his adoptive dad. In
Yes.
North Pole.
But he's known for just his deadpan delivery and kind of a slight stammer when he's talking. It's very distinct to Newhart. Do you guys have any? I know he's probably, you guys are probably a little too young for Bob Newhart, but do you guys have any thoughts on Bob Newhart at all?
I liked him in The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah,
I know he was in The Big Bang Theory, and I know he was an Elf. But aside from that, I'm not familiar with his work and anything like that. But it seems like he really was influential and a great comedian. So rest in peace to him.
Yeah, man, he was a very big deal for a very long time, and he was in Legally Blonde of all things. Blabs.
Really?
Legally Blonde too. Yeah.
Oh,
But
the second one. Who cares about that one?
No, okay. But he got his break on TV on the classic Ed Sullivan Show back in 1960, which was very, very cool. So, anyways, definitely a legend. And when you think of like a lot of people look at Bob Newhart in Hollywood as like one of the icons, and he had a long career and fortunately passed away, but at 94 years old. I think if anybody gets to 94, you've done pretty dang good.
Yeah, that's a good life.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's brighten things up a little bit. Anybody here a fan of either the Ninja Turtles or Naruto?
Huge Naruto guy here.
I like
okay.
Turtle.
Have you seen the crossover that's happening?
I did.
Yes.
Huh.
All right.
No.
Kongan, your thoughts?
Here's a little Naruto thing on my desk. I love Naruto. But here, let me show you.
Yeah, check it out. There we go.
I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I'm gonna become Hokage one day. Believe it.
Okay.
Huge Naruto guy. That's why I was very disappointed with the direction they took it at the end, where it became like this super like intergalactic fighting thing, where it just became like the start of Naruto and even the beginning of Naruto Shippuden was like just a lot of like really intricate ninja fighting, and it was just incredible. And then it just morphed into this like huge Titan fighting thing, and I just hated that. But aside from that, still love the series. I cried so many times watching it when he defeated Pain. I was like, oh, it was like he finally got the recognition he wanted so long after being an orphan and outcast. And so incredible story, incredible lore. And I love these kind of crossover stuff. Like there was also recently a Sanrio Naruto crossover with like Hello Kitty and like all of that, Hello Kitty being like one of the Naruto characters. And I love these kind of crossovers. I think they're so wholesome, and I think they're so cool when you have like different fandoms coming together and appreciating it. And it's like, can you imagine like Shredder is like, I don't know, it's like one of the Uchiha, like, and it's just like it would be cool. I think like that crossover would be really cool.
So speaking of Sanrio and Hello Kitty, just total side note here, branch off. Did you see that? Like
I did. There's
like
she's
not a cat.
Yeah, they were trying to gaslight us. I think it was the representative of like, I don't know, what was she? Some part of Western branch representative of Sanrio or something. I don't know if you can pull it up, but she was saying that, did you know that Hello Kitty's actually not a cat? She's a girl. And we're like, what? Why are we being gaslit about this? She is a cat. She's been a cat. She has whiskers and ears right here. People don't have ears that protrude right here. We don't have whiskers. It's just so bizarre.
Here we go. This is it. Hello Kitty is not a cat, according to the director of retail business development at Hello Kitty's flagship company. Hello Kitty is not a cat. She's actually a little girl born and raised in the suburbs of London. Well, let's see what she has to say about this and how stupid she looks. Once again, this is look, I don't know anything about Hello Kitty outside of Sanrio Smash Ball, which is a great game for the Super Nintendo. But this is ridiculous.
Is Hello Kitty a cat? So Hello Kitty is not a cat. She's actually a little girl born and raised in the suburbs of London.
This is not a cat.
We're supposed to believe that's not a cat, ladies and gentlemen.
Furries are people too. Furries are people too. This is a family of furries.
Yeah, just a girl. She wakes up every morning, puts on her cat outfit. This is absolutely fascinating.
Well, no, her whole family does. They're matching fursuits.
Well, she's going to cover that here.
She has a mom and dad and a twin sister, Mimi, who's also her best friend. She enjoys baking cookies and making new friends.
By the way, these also are not dogs and turtles and rabbits. These are clearly something other. These are just normal kids here. Disregard the penguin outfit and the dog and the frog. Just gonna throw it out there.
Well, I love what this is implying, that they are kids dressed up as cats that now want to dress up as other animals, and they wear those costumes on top of their cat costumes.
Yeah, great point.
The furry must be stopped. They've gone too far.
Furry inception here. Too many layers deep.
Oh my God. Let's continue.
Cinnamon roll, your cinnamon roll looks kind of like you.
She's kind of a tiny little girl, right? Yeah, she weighs 3 apples and she's 5 apples tall.
And her world is large. She has her own pet cat, Charmy Kitty, a boyfriend, Dear Daniel, and
Who also is a boy, not a cat, by the way.
I will not stand for this white cultural appropriation of Japanese IP. This is unacceptable. We must boycott the director of whatever she is, advertising or whatever.
How old is she supposed to be? Have a boyfriend?
Yeah, she's a little girl, but she has a boyfriend. Like, what? Like, what is going on here?
Right?
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. And that is why we have the Naruto Ninja Turtles crossover. Congratulations. I'd like to bring it back to the story. All right. Well, that's good stuff. I guess we'll need to do a little more digging.
I think that's so sick. Like Leonardo with like a hidden leaf headband. That's so sick. That looks so cool. And Michelangelo. Oh, that looks incredible.
So you're down for it, huh?
I'm down for it. I love it. I love these kind of crossovers. These are the kind of things this is why I love like Fortnite anime collabs. I'm like walking around as Deku from My Hero Academia, shooting people with guns. It's like, I love it. It's hilarious.
Right. That's awesome. All right, let's go to this next one here. This is courtesy of this little guy named Elon Musk, which I'm sure he took this from somewhere else. But did you see what's happening with all your favorite characters, ladies and gentlemen? There's been this ongoing theme that people have been saying, hey, they're doing different things with these characters, maybe a race swap or something, they're changing them. And this got passed around yesterday as check a look at this. These are the original characters on the left, and then what they are to today's quote unquote modern audience on the right. Obviously, speaking of Ninja Turtles, you see April O'Neil down there. Number of different characters over here. It's as pointed out, obviously Ariel, the Little Mermaid, she's a big one right there. And the Gingercide is real, courtesy of Gary.
So for people who aren't familiar with what he means by that, the trend that people note is if you have a ginger, they are much more likely to be race swapped than non-ginger characters. And gingers are a historically discriminated group, and actually a quite historically discriminated group.
And a huge minority. Like, how often do you ever encounter a ginger in public?
So the reason why this appears to be happening to a lot of people is that ginger, the stereotype, the personality stereotype that we associate with gingers is also commonly associated with Black characters. And so if the writer is racist and they see a spunky or fiery character, especially a female, they are going to write them as Black, which is of course racist, but that's the way a lot of these people are.
So interesting.
Well, yeah, it's just seeing it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. with this is about what 30, 40 examples, something like this. So do we have any? If we have any gingers in our audience, any redheaded friends, normal men, I would love to see how you think how this makes you feel along the way. And to be clear, not all these are redheads, just the vast majority of them. We do have. Well, it looks like blonde on here. I'm not sure.
Like dirty blondes, strawberry blondes in there.
Yes.
I've got a ginger kid, so I can be mad on his behalf.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, there you go.
It makes you wonder for the upcoming Harry Potter remake show, the Weasleys.
No, the Weasleys.
They won't be able to make them black.
They really can't.
The Weasleys because the Weasleys are poor and have a lot of kids. And if they tried to gender swap them, everyone. But I mean, they're so like sensitivity blind these days.
Oh my gosh, no! But I think it's incredible that the richest man in the world is posting about and mainstreaming the awareness of this Gingercide. And you know, there's a lot of people blackpilling all the time whenever there seems like there's hope. There's also reason to be like, man, this sucks. State of the world sucks. State of entertainment sucks. State of politics suck. But like, the richest man in the world is talking about the Gingercide in our entertainment. Like, and you're blackpilling? Heck no. Let's go.
Pretty cool. It's pretty neat to see Elon Musk just and just doing that. It just,
he has fun with the memes too. I guarantee it.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, he's spectacular. He's great, man. All right, let's go and move. Okay, so here's the thing. Before we move on to this next story, I'm going to tell you this right now. Listen, we're going to talk about something that may make people uncomfortable, right? But at the end of the day, it's boobs. All right. But before we get to that, Ian came in with the 50 European monies and says, if Hello Kitty's a girl and only weighs 3 apples, that's negligence. Great point, Ian. Great point right there.
They're starving her.
She's a starving child.
Hey, give it up for Ian. Love that. Ian, Blabs, do you have anything for Ian? There we go.
I do. There you go. The $50 dono.
That's right. Thank you so
Comments
much.
like, what is this?
Did you guys ever determine if those were real? I know that was a topic of investigation.
Oh, yeah.
I hate e-girls, man. That they know exactly what they're doing. It's just so frustrating. Like imagine if guys just talking like this. Like
she knew exactly what she was doing.
What?
For sure.
And then they're like, why are you sexualizing me? It's just like, bro, I'm done.
If guys could sexualize themselves, they would. I think we're just mad about the lack of gender equality in this opportunity.
Yeah, this is sexism.
All right, awesome.
Oh, you guys can't have tits. I mean, you can, I guess.
If you're Chris Tyson, yeah, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, it's true. Skull Eater came in and says, Hello Kitty's original name was the white kitten with no name. But if you call it out, you're woke. Okay, nice. Appreciate that, Skull Eater. Appreciate that. I don't know that I didn't know that about Hello Kitty.
Yeah, I didn't know that
either. Yeah.
Gremlin came in and says, did you guys see Flash gets Mickey's diversity game? It explains things perfectly. No, but I do have it pulled up. It's 4 minutes long. I don't know if check that out later on, Gremlin. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support.
Stuttering Craig is stuttering right now on that. Anyone else hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Really bad?
It was like
yeah, you were Roboto.
Oh, is my internet poor today?
I have no idea. You're back now.
All right, good. Well, hello, everybody. Magnum came in and says, gingers are a blessing and a curse, born on fire, biologically recessive gene. They're all Irish. Thanks, Magnum. Appreciate that. Brett says, I'm a redhead. And yes, it's pretty jacked up. I'm with you, Brett. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Where's the inclusion? Where's the representation for gingers? This is unacceptable.
Nathan came in, says Hello Kitty is the second biggest brand in the world behind Pokemon. Is it really?
Yes.
Like
Pokemon
behind
is number one. I'm pretty sure Hello Kitty is. Let me look.
What about Mickey Mouse? Just saying, like, surely I thought Mickey was higher. Which is why they want to claim. Which is why they want to claim it like Star Wars, which used to be the third biggest. Interesting. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate that.
Well, Side context here. The reason they have to claim these large brands to stay an active cultural force is because they have almost no children. So the only way that they can replicate as a cultural group is by converting children from demographically healthy cultural groups or importing children and then converting them.
All right.
And so it is actually existential for them that they do control these brands. But obviously they suffer because they're very, very bad at making good content because it kind of rots their brain, this sort of cult or perspective.
Hello Kitty's number 12.
Hello Kitty's the 12th biggest.
Yeah,
Well,
so
either way-
I'll just read them off real fast. So we have Pokemon, Mickey Mouse and Friends, Winnie the Pooh, Star Wars, Disney Princess, and Pan Man, Wizarding World, aka Harry Potter, Barbie, MCU, Call of Duty, Batman, and then Hello Kitty.
I think Hello Kitty is probably more influential than Batman and the MCU, in my opinion.
It's interesting. They have tried to capture every single one of those franchises. I mean, that franchise sounded like a hit list. Like you saw the recent Mr. Freeze from that now Mr. Freeze is a lesbian woman. Or there was with Harley Quinn and Mr. Freeze's wife who was like this slutty girl.
Okay, so sorry, Malcolm, but what this super chat was saying was, according to this other article, the top 25 highest grossing media franchises of all time, Pokemon, then Hello Kitty.
Interesting. Wow. That's pretty crazy.
80 billion. So, and then Winnie the Pooh, then Mickey Mouse. So I guess, I don't know, it must be depending on like what angle you're looking at.
All right. So let's go and move on. By the way, fascinating stuff. I had no idea that Hello Kitty was that huge. And by the way, John came in with a 5, says Batman versus the Ninja Turtles was a great crossover movie, so I have high hopes for this crossover. Thanks, John. Oh man, I dropped my box. All right, thank you, John. Appreciate that. And I hope it works out for all you fans out there, which is good. All right. So this next story here. Look, I understand that we're going to get, this is not spicy. Actually, I think our viewership would probably be triple today if I led with this thumbnail, but that's okay. I know our audience and I know you'll appreciate this story. This was being passed around yesterday. Bro, what is going on over on YouTube? This is a video that's being passed around. It's a new breastfeeding tutorial. 4K breastfeed tips.
4K breastfeed.
That's right. Now, Malcolm, you have a lot of kids. Do you need any tips when it comes to this stuff? Because if you need them, they're available on YouTube, friend.
Well, I can actually see a woman benefiting from this. It's not as intuitive as you'd think from what I've heard from my wife. You know, obviously I'm not doing it myself. But it can also cause a lot of pain. And if you don't do it regularly, you can get like a buildup that causes like a clot sort of thing. So I don't know. I'm gonna be like, maybe she's actually trying to give useful tips, but I don't know if she needs to show everything to do that.
Okay. So that's where we're at with this, because we talked about this several months ago, as Blabs pointed out in DMs to me earlier, that YouTube, and we saw the slippery slope. We were kind of standing at the edge, and YouTube's like, hey, it's cool. We're now going to allow this stuff, and it's okay, right? Because there is some educational aspect to this. Now, look, we're a family show here, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm just going to tell you this right now. This lady's channel, as I did lots of research prior to the show, I had to go and watch these videos. Let me tell you this right now. This has nothing to do with, by the way, she misspelled breast in her title, in her header. I'm just going to throw this out there. There is nothing in here about pop that makes any sense. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If you watch her videos, which lots of people have down here, right? This is a very well-endowed woman, and she has a fake child, and they're more or less just like soaping them up, more or less, right? And it is, I don't know if she's genius or what's happening here, but like, or if it's just totally manipulative or not, but it's,
do you know if she even has a baby, or is she using chemicals to produce breast milk?
There's no milk coming.
Are you whispering that?
There's no milk.
It's like Biden when he's like doing his speech.
It is just corn.
Yes, she's not a real baby. She doesn't have milky milk. It's just an excuse for her to show off her woo-ha. That's it.
I mean, it's in the
Her
title.
hoo-ha. Hoo-ha's down there.
Her cha-chas.
Her cha-cha.
Her
Yeah?
titis.
Her
tatas.
There you
Her tatas.
But
No,
I'm saying right
it's
now,
in the title of her video. 4K breastfeeding. 4K. It's like, okay, we get it. It's like,
You need to see all the detail.
yeah, you need to see every single pixel.
Every
That's
single
just-
little like tiny body hair. Yep.
well, let me just say this, because at the beginning, there is a disclaimer, and I'm going to pull this up. This is the disclaimer at the start of the video right here. And, it says like, hey, this is intended for educational purposes only and aims to provide information, support regarding breastfeeding. It's like, that's fine, right? That's fine. But I'm going to say this right now. There are points in this video, and I want to see if I can find an exact point here. Okay, you know what?
Is it YouTube okay? Can we even show
Yeah.
this? Okay, I was gonna say.
This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do right here. I'm gonna show this. I'm gonna scroll over the bottom here. All right. So if you're sensitive to this stuff, cover your eyes. If you don't like boobs, then you probably shouldn't be watching this show. But just on the bottom, take a look at like examples down here.
Oh
right?
my gosh.
Like, she should probably be like, she at any point she can bring her shirt down, like at any point. And that's kind of the point here is like, yes, like early in it, she's like, you do this, but it's really an example just to show her giant knockers. That's really it. And that's the entire premise of this. So
How is this allowed on YouTube? It's like, if that's educational content, then yeah, the bathtub streams on Twitch, it's also just gaming IRL educational content. I mean,
all
it's
educational.
like, how is that allowed?
I don't know. I'm gonna take a different step. I do not mind them loosening restrictions on YouTube. I am always afraid of my videos being demonetized or banned, and really the people who are watching this know what they're about. It's they're not like accidentally finding this or something, and I wouldn't think that this content is particularly harmful for young children when contrasted with other types of content that's online.
That's true.
You're muted, Craig.
You're muted.
So I'll say this, right? If
this is something Craig can get behind, okay?
I get what you're hold on. I get what you're saying, Malcolm, and I get it. I totally agree with you. I think that there's an educational purpose for this. I think that there definitely is a reason for this. I just don't think that her having seen her videos realistically is out there to educate. I think she's out there. No, I don't think she is at all. Right. And let's be clear. Do you need an entire video, an entire channel that is dedicated to not even like they can't even spell breast? And by the way, fun is my middle name. Like, what does that have to do with breastfeeding? I just don't even understand.
It's so it'd be really like truly like the sign of the times if we find out that this is just an AI woman.
I know,
completely catfishing us, and I just like, and imagine like in a few weeks, I guarantee you this woman's gonna open an OnlyFans link. They'd be like,
that's where I'm getting on this. 100%, Kongman. 100%. This lady.
There's no way this is educational content. You're just like hanging out for like 20 minutes, just leaving it out there. Like,
I find it interesting how few subscribers it's converted into. If you look at the videos, they're getting like 500,000 watches, but she's got like 12K subscribers.
Well, she's getting right to the point in her videos. I'll tell you that.
We should check in like 24 hours and see where those numbers are.
Yeah. And well, the comments on this are really funny. This is some of the comments down below. Just from dudes watching the videos. Man, I'm learning so much. Please don't stop. Please. Proud of you to upload such educational videos. I love it. Upload more videos like this. Okay, thank you very much. Next time I have to remember to bring a towel. Anyways, dirty. That's welcome to the internet, friends. Congratulations to her, Sierra Education, and her big fake boobies. Oh, actually real boobies, but whatever. Fake children. I just had to point that out because it was fascinating stuff. So as John came in with the 5 says, I swear I was watching breastfeeding videos, honey. That's right. Oh my god.
On locals, Just G sent a $4.20 tip saying, PSA, a lot of titties show up on YouTube when searching for them. The more you know. Really, who would have thought that boobs show up when you search for boobs? And then Just G sent another $2.80 saying, gonna sell her juice on Etsy or Timu. Ew!
Oh, gross.
Ew.
Gross. Oh my god. Magnum says she's definitely got milk. I don't care if she's dry. Can I check? Okay, sounds good. Oh, I'm a cow farmer, by the way. Good for you, Magnum. Minty came in and says, my uncle pulled the blinker fluid trick in the military. The cadet told to get it returned with the sergeant, who angrily corrected my uncle that the blinker fluid was on the other side of the compound where he was said. That's funny. That's funny. You got in on it. And Torgo says, Craig, this is not a family show. We all saw that Savvy Alex crossover episode. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. My fault. All right. Speaking of not family episode, let's go into the video game world here. And let's go to the beacon of video game journalism, The Gamer. The Gamer is obviously, well, we're going to get into this here in a little bit, but the Assassin's Creed Shadows game has been highly criticized. It has been in the crosshairs for multiple things. Most notably, the biggest thing is the presentation, the idea of, Colin, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, actually, as Asian man. Your thoughts on Assassin's Creed Shadows and the cultural appropriation of that is being placed on this game.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's like if you look at the IGN journalists who talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows, they're all like, "Oh, this based on a real life." Like, I think they had 20 tweets saying this is based on a real samurai, real historical samurai, right?
But seriously, guys, it's real.
It's real. It's so historical, right? It's so historical that what's the romance story with Yasuke now? That he's gay. It's like, yay! This is so historical. It's just so insane to me. It's just
that's right. As Assassin's Creed Shadows will have same-sex romances here. Which is good. Assassin's Creed Shadows will have more developed, quote unquote, more developed relationships than past games. It also brings back queer romances like in Odyssey and Valhalla. However, since Yasuke and Noi, am I saying that right? How do I say this? Now?
I think it's probably Naue.
Okay.
Like
are
Naue.
distinctly separate. They will have unique romances individual to them. That means these queer romances are specifically catered to each character. Well, there we go. Congratulations. It's a thing. If you want to be gay, you can be gay in Assassin's Creed Shadows as your black samurai ninja.
It's just so frustrating because the whole narrative around this thing, when we're like, hey, and by the way, this was the historical records of Yasuke being an actual samurai. It was all fabricated by a white liberal journalist, and that was exposed a while ago. But it's the whole narrative around it was that, why are you so mad about a black samurai? Do you just hate black people? And it's like, well, your whole premise is saying that he was a real life samurai. We're saying he wasn't. So if you're gonna say this is based on historical events in feudal Japan, it's like, it's not. But then in the same vein, they say, oh, but he's gay too. It's like what one is it? Are you being historically accurate or not? And it's mind-blowing that they do that. And in the same vein, the same journalists, the same activists are now pissed off. I don't know if you guys have been following the Genshin Impact boycott, but they complain about Genshin Impact. The characters are too white. They're too white, although they're based on indigenous characters. And this is a fictional universe. And they're mad the characters aren't dark skinned enough. But then we're like, hey, it's kind of weird that you're so focused on making a black person a samurai and having go around killing Japanese people in feudal Japan. Oh no, you're a racist for pointing that out. It's like, no, why do you care so much? That's always like, why do you care so much? Why do you care so much? And then if it's flipped, they freak out. It's so bizarre. It's really so bizarre. I've seen nothing like it. It's just so entertaining at the same time.
I mean, also the optics of having a black guy going around killing Japanese people is not great. One of the things I find really interesting about the ultra woke mindset, where they really do sort of create a ethnic-based caste system and a hierarchy where like different
Yeah.
groups are viewed differently, and it's not because they're minority or whatever. Like they don't care about like Asian groups and stuff like that. You know, they actually don't really care about Hispanic groups either, which is one thing I've really noted. If you look at, there was a great minority tracker done during the Super Bowl ads, and it showed that like Black people were hugely overrepresented, Black people hugely underrepresented. So the people who aren't aware, the Hispanic population in the United States is about twice the Black population in the United States. So like if you're just trying to make something reflective of our world, right now I'm playing through Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, people were complaining about it being pretty woke. It's been okay so far, but the thing I can't get over is like half of the characters are Black. And I think in the progressive mind, it's like we live in this world that's 50% white and 50% Black, instead of like a huge range of like ethnic groups with diverse experiences. And I don't mind if they tried to represent a game world that is proportional to our existing world. I think that is perhaps something worth striving for. But this world view where it's like only white and Black and none of the other ethnicities matter. This is a huge thing because I'm like known as like the pronatalist guy, right? And whenever they're like, oh, this must be like a white supremacist thing, and I'm like, well, actually, it's East Asian communities that have the biggest problems with this. Korea specifically, for example, and they're like, they don't even hear that, like they don't even recognize these communities. Like if East Asian populations are having a problem, it is not something they care about at all. But if I said something like, oh, it was Black people having this problem, all of a sudden they'd be like, oh, well, then we need to go fix it. Which is wild.
It's really bizarre, and like you said, it's just, there is some sort of caste system that happens. Not sure where it comes from. A lot of people say it comes from Marx. A lot of people say it comes from critical theory. All I'm saying is like, bro, like they get so like I had a tweet that went viral, I think last month, saying that like it's totally okay for Black people to wear Korean traditional clothing, wear Japanese traditional clothing, for Black people to be samurai, Black people to do all these things and enjoy East Asian culture and, you know, traditional clothing, do all that stuff. Totally okay. And I don't have a problem with it either. I think that's totally fine. But then the moment that like Asians start wearing braids in their hair, I don't know if you guys knew the controversy a few years ago where a girl had buns for her Animal Crossing character, and people came for like destroyed her life and doxed her because they said you're appropriating Black hair. It's like, and then the moment that Asians start rapping, there's tons and swats of people on the internet saying that's cultural appropriation of Black culture. Like literally with the Genshin Impact thing, there's a new character from the new region Notlin in Genshin Impact, where their idol character animation is them doing breakdancing, right? And then they're like, this is a character that is too white, but they're doing they're doing Afro-Brazilian martial arts. Because they're not Afro-Brazilian, because they're not Black, they're not allowed to do this Afro-Brazilian martial arts, which was essentially breakdancing. And I'm like, in that same vein, if I said Black people can't do Taekwondo because they're not Korean, they would lose their minds. But then it only goes one way, and it's so bizarre to me. It is so bizarre.
Well, it's also really interesting when they're talking about things like, oh, you can't rap. Rap itself as a form of music evolved out of, blues, which then evolved out of early colonial music types. And it's like all of these or many of the quote unquote like minority art types were just their own riffs on other people's art types. So like you could say like, oh, white people, how dare you make something that looks like anime? Anime was meant to be copying the Disney style when it was first made. Then it evolved in its own direction. This is how we get interesting art, is by riffing on each other. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to.
Yeah, and that's essentially what it is. And I do agree with like the whole premise of trying to preserve differences in cultures and differences in countries as much as possible, because I do believe in different national identities. The reality is, though, people build from each other. And I think as long as you're creating something new from building on it, and you don't take like, I guess, ownership. For example, if a white person were to wear hanbok, which is Korean traditional clothing, and a white person's like, this is my white clothing now, it's like, it's from the white people, I'd be like, okay, no, that's not, you know? So I think that's absurd. But there's nothing wrong with a white person wearing Korean traditional clothing and saying like, I appreciate this, I think this is awesome. And so it's just mind-boggling to these people. Like and again, they don't have a problem with cultural appropriation because there's only certain people who are allowed to culturally appropriate in their definition. It's just only certain people aren't allowed to do it.
Yeah, so
in a certain
racial caste
direction.
system.
Yeah, so there is a caste system when it comes, and there is a racial hierarchy. And it's again, it's so bizarre to me. Again, I do not know where it comes from. Other than like people say it's critical theory, Marx, but I just really like these people don't know Marx. They don't know critical theory. They're not reading these things. I just think they're just useful idiots.
I think it's convergent evolution, convergent cultural evolution. I mean, if you look at modern progressive culture in the United States now, it's a culture that believes we should have an ethnic caste system with different ethnicities deserving of different levels of human dignity. We saw this when the CDC adopted policies during the COVID vaccine distribution.
Right.
That they believed these vaccines were saving lives, where they did not distribute them primarily based on medical need, but based, or at least partially, on the ethnicity of groups, with certain ethnicities being deemed as more having more access to a right to live than other groups. So they've got this ethno-caste system, and now at the bottom of this caste system, who is it again? It's Jews again. They reinvented Nazism. Like anyone who can still stand this urban monoculture's moral system, you are the people who, when you read through history books and you're like, how could anyone possibly support an ethnic caste system with Jews at the bottom? That's you. That's you you're reading about. Okay. Like, be aware.
Well, it is interesting to kind of see how this is trickled down, and with just obvious, well, it probably didn't even trickle down. It's where it's originating in video games. That's why we talk about what we talk about on the show, the idea of, these journalists and seeing the, the stark, just absolute hypocrisy associated with this. So, hey, we're going to stop cultural appropriation. And by the way, no, it's cool here. And that's the most fascinating thing about this. Total side note, I saw this video being passed around yesterday. Chicano culture reaching Japan. I don't know if you guys saw this happen. Apparently, I'm going to pull that down so we don't get hit. But let's go. Hanging out over in Asia, which is somewhere in Asia, which is great. Throwing out the west side.
Car moving like that. Holy moly.
got them
That's awesome.
Shocks, man. And then of course we got I don't know, maybe the rockabilly culture as well here. This is spectacular. I love the idea of these like just Asian guys dressing up as rockabilly Elvis over here. I love everything about this, man. This is outstanding. Like, it's great. Anyways, man, I don't know. These people are broken. I think that's at the end of the day, that's really what the reality is. We have people who are extremely broken. They are insecure with themselves. So ultimately they have to project on other people. And that's how you get the gamer.
Well, I think that you're underselling, or people undersell how broken they are. So I think a lot of people think that this is just downstream of where things were when we were younger. The CDC released a study a few years ago showing that 1 in 4 girls who are in high school these days had made a plan to kill themselves that year, not over the course of their entire adolescence, that year, 1 in 4. In terms of actual unaliving attempts, it was 1 in 10 per year for kids in high school in the United States. The level of despair that's driven by this urban monoculture is absolutely astronomical. And then if you look at the cultural groups that are closer to them, that like this urban progressive cultural force has more sway over, like the gay community, it is 1 in 5. And a lot of people can be like, oh, that's because they're discriminated against. If it was because they're discriminated against, why is the number going up over time? As the discrimination decreases, why is the number increasing? It's because of this cultural group. I think a lot of us, we can see these people who are out there online attacking people over silly things. And we're like, I hope that they get some sort of comeuppance for this culture that they've adapted that's so toxic and cruel. And that they are getting this comeuppance, I think, almost even more than they deserve. It's really sad.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is the, by the way, I just want to point this out, talking about broken people. This is the article, the Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is this person who wrote it, James Troughton, right here. So naturally, you want to see what's going on with James. And speaking of broken, James is such a dude. He now has they, them. So, when you start identifying as multiple people,
that'll do something to you for sure.
I mean, this opt-in identity into the queer community, I also find really like actually problematic, because we'll see a lot of these culture warriors do this, where, you know, a non-binary identity is easy for almost anyone to adopt, but now they get to identify with all of the persecution that that community has historically faced, go out in public, do stupid shit, which ends up drawing fire on like actual gay people, which by like one survey, for example, 45% of gay men voted for Trump in the last election cycle. Like the actual gay community is not standing this stuff. It's a bunch of crazy they thems who just opted in to this discriminated identity. They never experienced discrimination or lived as a discriminated person. It's an opt-in discriminated identity that they can pull out to win individual culture war battles whenever they feel like it.
Look at how happy this guy looks.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And they, them, I'm sorry, I said guy. Look at this, they, them, how happy they, them are. Just saying, not the
how happy they is.
Yes.
But look at this. Like, look at him, for example. He's in a normal heterosexual relationship, and yet he's going to pretend his girlfriend's going to say, well, I'm a lesbian because I'm dating a non-binary person. And he's going to say, well, it's just opt-in discrimination. It is totally different to identify with a discriminated group than it is to be a discriminated person.
And I think, you know, there's a phrase that says, don't judge a book by its cover. But I think like how people present themselves is a sign of what's in their heart. And in this case, like, you can clearly see, like, just from his facial expression, his body language, and how he presents himself, that he is a very broken person, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that's not someone who has a good head on his shoulders. That's not someone who feels really fulfilled in life. And that's why he is a gaming journalist. And I feel like a lot of gaming journalists are like that, right? And so that's just kind of like, you know, how you can really identify like who's really broken.
Sure, I think there's a big part of that. The old don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, there's truth in that. But I'll tell you what, it sure is easy to start judging when your cover has pronouns and blue hair. Just saying.
Yeah, like look at Destiny, for example, blue hair, and we're never wrong. We're never wrong with the blue hair.
Magnum came in with the 20. Says, with the $20, that's outstanding. Says, if this game takes place in Oakland, California, I supremely support this game. Unfortunately, it's not.
That actually a pretty cool game.
What? And black guy going around killing Asians in Oakland?
In Oakland?
Yeah, a black guy going around killing people in Oakland on some sort of like quest for justice. Like, I can see that actually being pretty cool. I want to go around Oakland and just
killing Asians.
There was that game that took place in San Francisco where they did that. It wasn't a black guy; it was somebody just going around San Francisco killing people. And I was like, that would be fun. That'd be cathartic, you know, because I used to live in San Francisco. But I also think when you take it and you put it in Oakland, or you take it and you put it in San Francisco, like, oh, there's a black guy going around San Francisco killing people. Do you now see why that's problematic? Like, oh my God. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, that's great. Shake hands and Ghost says, happy Friday from the hardworking normal men at Martin. Hey, good to see you guys. Thanks for another great week. Haktua, fellas. Friday. We got to go. Hey, you guys take it easy. Thank you very much. You guys over at Martin, appreciate you guys tuning in and watching today. Flickerbox TV says this all started in the 60s civil rights movement, 70s and 80s critical theory, and postmodernism. From thinking like Foucault and Butler. By the 90s, it became a phenomenon. Now we're dealing with its tribalism. Thanks, Flickerbox. And as he came in, says, this isn't unique to Asians. Race hustlers have been doing this to white/Europeans for over half a century. Welcome to the club. Look at modern fantasy, Black Knights, Black Kings, and Queens, etc. Thanks, Azzy. Appreciate that. And Shane O'Mac says, we need Assassin's Creed roof.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? They would never. But can you imagine?
I loved I lived in Korea for a while and trying to explain to Koreans who I worked with about roof Koreans. Because they hadn't heard in Korea, they don't know about this. They were like, oh, how are Koreans seen in America? And I'm like, you would be surprised.
Guns are illegal in Korea, and like Koreans are very still like all things considered like very averse to it. They don't like guns, and so the idea of like Koreans going on top of rooftops and defending their homes and businesses from thugs is like, what? huh, you did that?
Yeah, it's like, wait, Koreans are seen as like extra American. They're seen as like small business owners who defend their property with guns. That's the Korean stereotype in America. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
I've never even heard. I don't even know what that is. What is a roof Korean? What is that?
So
Okay.
basically, during the LA riots in '92, right? There was a lot of opportunists who started to loot during the Rodney King riots, and then they came into Koreatown, and so in Koreatown, there's a lot of Korean businesses and Korean homes, and then so they started to loot it and they started to destroy everything, right? And so because of that, there's a lot of Korean men who were exercising their Second Amendment rights, got on top of roofs and defended their property. Yeah, just like that.
Let's go. I'm just saying.
Isn't it like the most American thing ever? I love that this is burned into the American consciousness, but
I love the cigar in that one dude's like
that
photo.
But I also want to point out here something that was really interesting about this is why their community was targeted, because we saw a replay of this in the Black Lives Matter movement, which was that Koreans were a recent immigrant group, and often recent immigrant groups during that period move next to the cheapest areas to live. So they were buying areas outside of the ghettos. And so when the riots happened, it was these recent immigrant communities that were the first to be targeted. Yeah. Now, the progressive press won't tell you this, but during the BLM protests, the neighborhoods that were most ransacked and the businesses that were most ransacked, is something I know because I have tons of Latin American friends, were predominantly recent Latin American immigrants. Like the American press tried to hide this, but Latin Americans, in terms of how they access news, they get a lot through family networks. And that played a big role in the recent shift we've seen of Latin Americans to the right, because they had just gone through an entire election cycle where the left was like, oh, we care about you, we're here to support you. And then they saw when push came to shove, they were having their sort, like, imagine, you saved up everything, you bought a store. Like, I had friends telling me these heartbreaking stories about their relatives who were like pulled out of their stores and beaten, and their stores were ransacked, and they had put everything into them. And it was just absolutely heartbreaking for these communities.
Yeah. And
then to see it covered up and lauded in the progressive media was also horrifying. People died. Like, there was like a scar, a burned corpse found in like one building and stuff like that. Horrifying.
Well, now I know what a roof Korean is. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. I mean, that's probably like the most American thing I've ever seen in my life, which I appreciate. And it's good. Yeah. All right. Speaking of American and real Americans, we're about to talk about Hulk Hogan last night. Like I said, in the world of entertainment and politics, there's a crossover that's happening here, and it happened during the Republican National Convention last night. It'll be interesting to see if this happens during the Democratic National Convention coming up here, I guess, in a month or so. But Hulk Hogan appeared on stage. And Malcolm, do you have a history with Hulk Hogan? Do you have a relationship, a parasocial relationship with Hulk?
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing him since I was a little kid.
Right.
There was the one about him being a nanny. He would appear in children's shows. He used to do this. I don't know if other people remember that.
Mr. Nanny, yeah, absolutely, Mr. Nanny for sure. Well, last night during the RNC, there were several speakers that happened, and Hulk Hogan was one of them out of nowhere. Now, apparently, Hulk Hogan was not scheduled to be there, but after the events of Saturday the 13th, he was like, "Nah, I got to talk. I got to speak." And during his speech, he talks about how he's always kind of avoided politics as an entertainer, but something kind of switched in him after the things on the 13th, the attempt on the 13th. So he was on stage, and he did part of his speech as Hulk Hogan and part of his speech as Terry Bollea, which is his real name. But he started off with...
Wait, his name is Terry?
Yeah, Terry Bollea. Yeah. Which is why you understand why he went with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. I like Mark Sinclair, Vince Diesel, was it, whatever his name is.
So he went on stage, and he did the most badass, like it's partially the most badass thing. It's kind of cringe. It depends, but it's also like super fucking American. Let's check this out. Now, Malcolm, you have not seen this?
No, not seen this at all.
Well, I can't wait to see your reaction to this. Here we go.
Was compromised.
He's talking about how he's talking about the assassination attempt.
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero. And they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
No, I think this is beautiful. So we have a theory that we did an episode of our show on, which is if you look at old Republican politics from the 90s, and I think society more broadly, it was motivated by like this disgust-based framework. So when it was motivating the base, it'd be like, oh, you know, like gays kissing, that's disgusting. Let's stop that, right? That disgust-based framework, people began to realize it was immoral, you know, like Mother Teresa, like, oh, lepers cause disgust to me, but I still need to hug them. I still need to love things. So then we switched as a society to a cringe-based framework where, you know, people were sort of kept aligned and motivated by fear of secondhand embarrassment. But that framework has been falling apart recently, especially on the right. And we're moving to this vitalism-based framework, where it's a framework based around owning yourself, and being comfortable with yourself, even when that's not something that the mainstream wants. And I think that's what people like Hulk Hogan represents in that. That's what Tiger King represents. That's what Trump represents. And I've really liked this shift in framework because I think it's much more emotionally healthy.
Yeah, it's huge. It's just a huge energy shift, you know? It's just like now like Republican politics. I mean, I have my own thoughts about Republican politics, all things considered, but the branding and the overall presentation is like it's fun, it's cool, it's hip, it's new, right? And the Democrats used to be that, but now it's like you got Hulk Hogan. Trumpomania! It's like that's fun, you know.
I love fun. Am I allowed a short rant on the convention and the JD Vance nomination picked and what it means for like changing Republican politics? Oh,
you're muted, Craig.
I was going to say, let's keep it on Hulk Hogan ripping off his shirt.
Okay.
But I would say this, Blabs, as a younger voter, seeing Hulk Hogan rip off his shirt, what are you hadn't seen that before. So what was your thoughts on that?
Oh, these types of things don't like affect my voting. My thing with voting is the actual policies and things.
Right.
Nerd. You sound like a nerd.
You being like educated and stuff? Get out of here. It's ridiculous.
Get out of the convention.
I mean, listen, I know nothing about Hulk Hogan whatsoever. Like, I don't watch any type of wrestling. So, like, this is just some random dude to me just ripping off his shirt going, and I'm like, you're a little unstable, but you got the spirit, you know?
That's Hulkamania at the best, taking just ripping it off. Oh, man, it's so good.
It's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great optics. Politics is all about optics, you know? It's people think it's about persuasion. It's about optics, and it's about how it's presented. And so you have Hulk Hogan, Trumpomania! All these young men are going to be like, I like that! Yeah! And then you have, you know, Trump right after he got shot, he gets back up, fight. People are looking at that. Holy crap. Like Zuckerberg just came out with an interview with Bloomberg where he said, like, I don't endorse any candidate, but you have to admit what Trump did was so badass. And there was something that you just can't help but get emotional after seeing that spirit, right? Someone like Zuckerberg is saying that, right? And it's
alien,
like the alien and, you know, his reptilian alien android to Chad right-wing, you know, like monster is like becoming his arc is almost complete. I think he's becoming a lot more right-wing, which is kind of cool to see. But you know, it's all about optics, and I think Hulk Hogan doing that is awesome. There's just a lot of energy, a lot of good spirits. I just like it. I love it.
I mean, I think we should expect a shift not with Trump, but Zuck further right wing, because one of the transformations we've seen in the two-party system, because Trump really represented a shift in the party dynamics, is in the 90s. The Republicans were the party of big business and like intergenerational wealth. But now big business, like imagine like a Jack Donaghy character. He would never be a Republican in modern times. Big business is all ultra progressive now. And in the 90s, all of the tech elite, you know, your Elons, your Peter Thiels and stuff like that, they would have been far lefties. And now they're all moving to the right. So it's very interesting that we've seen this political swap.
Well, seeing Hulk Hogan on stage yesterday was pretty surprising, to say the least. There was talks about it earlier in the day, and I'll be interested to see kind of, if somebody comes out and does something similar in a month from now, if the entertainment aspect of it is for the DNC is just as entertaining and you see such crossover. I mean, Kid Rock was there last night. You saw Hulk Hogan. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot last night. So it'll be interesting to see if like kind of what the counter is, because I do feel like there is a little bit of shift.
Well, it would have been Jack Black, but then now he just got kind of canceled. So
yeah, old Jack Black. And as pointed out, there is Mark Hamill. There's always Mark Hamill. That's right.
He must get like paid out or something. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't even have control of his own Twitter. It's like, how, man?
yeah, that guy is unhinged. And like, what is he gonna do? Go up to the DNC and start drinking his like space cow milk? Like,
Or like, no, he's gonna put on the sunglasses again. Remember that? He's like, oh, this is so cool. Joe Biden gave me his sunglasses.
All right. And, if they got Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift is super. But anyways, whatever. All right. Well, let's move on from that and then go to the big story that's affecting a lot of people today. It was originally our lead story. Then I changed it to Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan ripping off his shirt in front of millions of people is pretty awesome. Anyways, this has not affected us at all, but I don't know if you guys do know anybody who's affected by this personally. But apparently there's a massive worldwide IT outage that is pretty messy that's going on right now. Now, like I said, I'm not affected by this, so I don't see it on but apparently this is a global thing that's affecting all sorts of different industries, the airline industry, the security industry. And this is interesting because apparently this whole thing started with an update to existing community security software. So widespread IT outages reported across the globes. Major U.S. airlines grounded, all flights, 911 emergency services systems affected. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal that's affecting a lot of people and how they work. I found this was a graph of kind of like what the flights look like to start, and then it happened, and you can see all the flights getting grounded, which I got to be honest.
Terrifying, actually. All these little planes just flying. They they're going to crash into each other.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many flights just are in the sky at the same time. It's actually
like
incredible.
Above each other, below, next to. Yikes.
Well,
I'm just really happy I didn't fly this weekend. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm flying next week, and we'll see what happens with that.
We don't know yet if it was a cyber attack or just a security failure or like a.
I thought they said it was confirmed, not a cyber attack.
Okay.
That's
it's probably. Listen,
I don't know. I'm just surprised.
Hat moment. I always think anytime these things happen, somebody's attacking.
Yeah, I'm just surprised the media hasn't blamed it on Russia yet. I mean, that's what they always do. It's like a Russia collusion, Russia attack, or some sort of Chinese attack, and I don't know. But for me, when I look at this, it's just kind of a good reminder of like to not have your whole life be digitized and be digital. Like we do need analog components in our life, and we have to be able to live off the grid because. Like as great as cloud tech is, as great as all this, cyber infrastructure is, the moment it goes down, you're toast. If every single thing that you rely on in life to live, to eat, to breathe, to function is digitized, the moment it goes down, you're toast. And so it's so important for us all to be self-sufficient in that way, and to live, analog lives. And this also includes physical media when it comes to video games. I never buy my games digital. I always get it physical because, like what happens if they just decide to pull it off the store and you're not allowed to play the game anymore? Like, yeah, well, I want to keep playing my games. And so it's very important for us to be self-sufficient and be really analog, even though we are living in a digital age.
Yeah. And as much as people try to be analog, the reality is that much of our world is digital right now. There's so much of our world that's digital right now. This is from Megatron over on X. This is what the cyber apocalypse looks like. CrowdStrike antivirus has broken Windows worldwide. The global technician failure affected systems in the U.S., Britain, Germany, Japan, Israel, India, and other countries. The reason for the abnormal failures is CrowdStrike's security system. The developer has already confirmed a link between its software and Windows problems. You can solve the problem by putting your computers in safe mode and removing certain software components. The failure is unrelated to cyber attacks, but its consequences will be huge, cybersecurity experts warns. Today is the day CrowdStrike dies. I never heard of CrowdStrike before today. Had you guys ever heard of this company before?
I no, but I didn't realize they were like in charge of like cybersecurity for like all of these airports and all of these businesses all throughout the world. It's like, whoa.
Right. And you're talking about like, this is a hospital. You can't go in and get scans at a hospital.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It appears to be a B2B company is my read.
Yes. Yeah. Business to business. Yep. And you see Delta just totally shut down. You can't do anything. Can't scan at your Whole Foods market.
That's what they wanted. They wanted digital. Now look.
Right. And this is pointed out by Grums over on X as CrowdStrike leaves game devs in shambles, getting reports that if not all Activision studios are down, everything workstation bricked. Wow, that's Jesus. That's crazy to think about. You know,
we're not losing much, are we?
Well, I'll say this. Think about games. If this is truly bricked and they can't get back that data, how many hours, days, weeks, months of work could be ruined?
Jeez, yeah.
Like, that's crazy to think about. It says at one studio, there is only 2 IT people fixing hundreds of workstations. Nobody can work. People are going home. This is a big deal, really big deal. And this is following up. It says, I don't think you guys truly fully grasp how this is. Around 1 billion computers are bricked worldwide, mostly corporate ones. This isn't just an online service going down for a few hours. Every affected computer needs to be rebooted in fail mode and have a driver manually removed. Most corporate computers given to employees don't let users do this themselves. Even if they could, imagine every single double-digit IQ wagey trying to handle a moderately complex task when many people don't even know what a file is anymore. I can't stress enough the scale of this happening. It's a big deal, really big deal. And you're seeing this affect all sorts of things like American Airlines. We're aware of technology issues with a vendor that's impacting multiple carriers. They're working, obviously, to get that squared away. And the trickle-down effect here, this is Elijah Schaefer. He says he was offered $1,200 to give up. These airports are in shambles right now because of what's happening. Question for the chat: has this affected any of you in any way, shape, or form this morning as we go along? Anybody got anything on that real quick?
I'm so glad I wasn't flying this week. I hate airports. I hate flying. It's just so tedious. But like, imagine being stuck there and you literally cannot go anywhere and cannot get out because all the systems are down. It's like, wow. Like, seriously, like, condolences to everyone stuck in airports right now, because it's not just in the US, but it's all around the world. It's crazy.
Millions
like,
of people.
This is massive failure.
And they're going to be there for like 10 hours because, if you're grounding all planes, you can't just you got to get through that entire backlog before things start up again. And a lot of these are, because once the planes are back in the sky again, now that's rescheduled flights that are already full, that are already booked. So everyone who's got stranded right now is like genuinely stranded.
Well, there's another layer to this as well, as Blaz has pointed out. This is from a couple years ago, January 13th, 2022, when the World Economic Forum Global Risk Reports warns of cyber pandemic. A cyber pandemic here. The idea that everything could go down, all the electrical grids can come down. By the way, just like totally making up a word here, a cyber pandemic. I don't even know what that means.
How does that happen?
I'm so tired of them calling everything and anything a pandemic when it doesn't even regard diseases. It's like, okay,
a
dude,
paper cut pandemic is on its way.
Yeah.
A Gamergate pandemic.
Uninformed Free Radical says, I got 3 emails from corporate bosses with how to fix potential blue screens. A reminder that it's not a cyber attack, and an approved word form for customers if they ask. Vote early and on paper. Right. And that's actually another layer to this. The idea that, just going off the Hulk Hogan thing and the voting side of it, right? Like, we should probably do paper ballots, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's a lot more secure.
But it goes a little bit deeper because CrowdStrike is a huge advocate of DEI.
Yes, our favorite.
That's right.
You know who else is a huge advocate of DEI these days? The Secret Service.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's run by a woman right now. The Secret Service.
Did you see the footage of the woman's Secret Service
with the holster?
She didn't know what to do.
Can we talk about how sus it is that we still don't have a motive for this? Like the fact that we don't know the motive yet says to me that the motive is super damning of the boss of the Secret Service right now.
Yeah, I don't trust it.
Are we talking about the assassination attempt?
Yeah,
I don't trust these.
Oh yeah, of course.
Intelligence agencies. It's very sus.
Well, this was staying on the CrowdStrike story here. This was being passed around, and Blabs has DM'd this person. We don't know if this is legit or not, but it is funny because it's getting passed around a lot. This is from this guy named Vincent Flibustier. His first day, and this looks like a great troll, which is why I didn't really think much about it. But first day at CrowdStrike, pushed a little update and taking the afternoon off. And apparently, he was there.
That's definitely Photoshopped. No, that looks Photoshopped to me.
You think it's Photoshopped? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny. He has
certainly me who did the CrowdStrike.
This is him. He actually put a video out here. Let's just see what it is. It may be a great troll. Oh yeah,
I think it's a troll.
Okay, hello, Elon. Let's have a drop for me. Well, either way, good stuff. Blabs did reach out to him. I was like, let's go. You know what? Looking at that definitely is Photoshop.
It's a troll. Yeah, that's why I was like,
it's
all right.
so green screen. It's so obviously green screen or Photoshop.
Yeah, you're right. That is very much so. You're right.
I literally DM'd him. I was like, hi, can you prove that you actually work for CrowdStrike?
It's hilarious. I'm pretty sure he's getting so many DMs from media companies too. Like, oh, like, do you have a word on like blah 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 blah? Like,
yeah, the Twitter thread is pretty funny. It just is like fired. Totally unfair.
I like his bio the most, actually. If you check his bio.
What's his bio?
A former CrowdStrike employee fired for an unfair reason, only changed one line of code to optimize, looking for a job as a systemin.
That's funny. That's great. All right, good stuff. Well, good troll from Vincent over here. I love it. Love it. And there we go. Like I said, lots of you guys coming in with great support today. Skull Leader says we knew about this for decades. Robert Morris and the internet worm. The solution is diversity of operating systems and security software. Wait, it's not diversity of people working on the software? Okay, got it. Sounds good. Thank you, Skull Leader. Appreciate that. Jonas says, hi, Craig. Old UKG1 from back in the day. Been in IT for 26 years. It's been a wild, unprecedented day. The root cause of this is not malicious. It's pure incompetency.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that's the best explanation. And of course, every time there's any sort of failure or any sort of negligence from any sort of company, you look at their website and what is their prime values? Diversity, equity, and inclusion every single time, where they care more about the identity of their employees than the competence of their employees. And it's actually destroying lives and destroying our infrastructure.
Yeah.
Well, another one bites the dust here. We'll see kind of what happens. Josh says, I work for a beer distributor and our systems are fine. So at least people can still get drunk. Silver lining. There you go, Josh.
I was just going to say that I think that we need to start framing DEI as a national security threat because I think that this shows that it is a national security threat. And if a Trump administration is elected, I'd personally advocate for them to create a department to specifically go after it as a national security issue, because this is insane. Our country shouldn't be run on this sort of bigotry.
All right. Norm Alman says, could you please the following in a Norm Macdonald voice? All right, I'll do my best. In other news, the next COD game is delayed. When fans were told this, they said, they're still making COD games? Thanks, Norm. I'm not a good Norm guy, but we should probably get Razor for that. All right, look, we got a lot of support today. It's been wonderful. Thank you guys very much for all your super chats, direct donations, Rumble rants. We're going to get to every single one of them. But I would love to give our guest an opportunity to bow out gracefully and say thank you for coming in and being a part of the show. So Congman, I really appreciate your time today. You've been awesome, super fun having you on. Can't wait to have you on again. Please tell everyone where they can find you, my friend.
Thank you. And so, yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was really fun. Thank you, Blabs, and thank you, Craig. And also nice chatting with Malcolm, who's currently not there. But he left. This is the Asian hate that I keep having to endure in this country. It's just this white supremacy. But yeah, you can find me. Congman Lee TV is like my faith, pop culture, political content. And then I do gaming content, which is Congman Lee Plays. And then also just lifestyle IRL content is Congman Lee, but my main content is Congman Lee TV. You can find me there on YouTube and stuff. So I haven't posted in a really long time. You see there like 1 year and 3 years ago, but yes, please subscribe. Thank you, appreciate it. But yeah, I just, if you like anime, if you like pop culture, if you like talking politics and you like talking about theology, that's what I do a lot. And obviously you can follow me on X, Congman J Lee. I post a lot of bangers there. I only post bangers, and my phone is always on fire because all I do is post bangers. But yes, guys, thank you so much for having me, chat. Thank you so much. I've seen a lot of your messages in the chat, and yes, I am your honorary rooftop Korean, and so I will continue to hold the line for you guys. So thank you all.
I want to let you know that from here on out, that is how you'll be introed on the show, is Side Scroller's in-house rooftop Korean.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, thank you so much, man. Pleasure having you on, brother.
All right. Thank you all. Take care.
All right, we'll catch you with you soon. Malcolm, we'll give you an out as well if you like. What's that?
If you want to, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Malcolm, give everybody an opportunity to tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
Well, you're watching this on YouTube, or I guess in a podcast. You can also find our podcast, but Base Camp with Simone and Malcolm. Pretty much we talk about a lot of the things he does. We talk about a lot of politics, sexuality, religion, theology, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Recently, I've been talking a lot about J.D. Vance and what it means for the change in directions of the Conservative Party, because I actually think it's huge. It might be as big a deal as the Biden debate performance. Not quite as big as the assassination attempt, but it's a pretty big shift in where the party's heading, and it sort of defines the future of what American conservatism is going to be.
All right, my man. Well, if you guys are into that, you guys can go find Malcolm over on his channel, Base Camp with Simone and Malcolm Collins. We'll obviously have the link to that down below. Malcolm, what a stud you are. Appreciate your support and best of luck with your media rounds with NPR. And all that.
Glad to be guys on NPR yesterday. They've invited me back, so I didn't. They made the mistake of asking me about the January 6th stuff. They're like, why was this? Well, of course you condemn this, and I was like, well, people have different views on the integrity of the election cycle. Anyway, awesome. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, Malcolm.
I will catch you soon.
Bye.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you guys very much for your support. Like I said, we're going to read every single direct donation, every single Rumble rant, every single super chat, starting with Kratos coming in. Says, I'm a software engineer as well. I can confirm that this error is caused by the ghost of Steve Jobs. He pops up from time to time. Pretty common, actually. Thanks, Kratos. Appreciate that. And Crit says, it's the Wild West now in IT. A couple of days ago, there was a huge F up by MSI as well. You could literally Google customer data like warranty cases that were publicly available. Wow, that's messy. A serious fan came in and says, CrowdStrike investigated DNC and Clinton hacks in 2016. They decided it was Russia. They also denied FBI access to the servers to check their work. Oh, wow, interesting. Following up right here from Cobra Kai says, CrowdStrike was involved in the DNC hack investigation in 2016. They blamed they assigned blame to Russia without ever accessing the servers. They are quote unquote connected. Thank you, Cobra Kai. Appreciate that. All right. And then Lord Botha says, looks like Jeremy chose wisely to drive to the RNC, right? Got lucky. And thank you for that. It says it's fixable, but not easy. I fixed it on my own laptop this morning. Of note, CrowdStrike has an ESG DEI section on the website. Odd that, yes, of course. Zaria says, I'm on the clock now, supposed to be working, but instead listening to you guys, all because of the outage. Let's go! Well, welcome on in. Glad you're here. And Victus came in and says, nobody is safe from this kind of digital outage. I hear so many people say, this is why I'm on Linux. As if we didn't see a critical update brick Linux systems not even 2 years ago. Right. Well, thanks for the heads up. All right, Blabs, let's go fire away from the top and work our way down.
Highlander for 5 says the fact that a bad third-party security update can brick millions or break millions of Windows machines globally is scarier than what is going on in politics right now. Yeah.
Quick side note. We actually have a little bit of breaking news here as we this is actually kind of a big, interesting breaking news sounder. This is something that happened in 2020 where Twitch, they blocked Donald Trump's account. Do you recall that?
Donald Trump has a Twitch account?
Yeah, he got banned from Twitch. He wasn't like
no
playing
idea.
games.
I had no idea. I didn't even know he was on Twitch. I knew none of this. Back in 2020, I was avoiding the internet because of everything that was going on.
Sure, probably rightfully so. Well, apparently this morning, Twitch has reinstated Donald Trump's account, saying we believe there's value in hearing from presidential nominees directly. Good for them.
Nice. That's kind of realizing they're schmucks and being like, all right, we'll allow him.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. I think that's important, and it seems like such a basic common sense thing that if there's some sort of presidential candidate that has any sort of potential, then you should probably listen to them. So have the opportunity to listen to them. So good for them, and I'm sure that half of the people who work at Twitch right now are screaming and kicking the ground and covering their ears, saying no, 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 no. So there we go. Good for Twitch for actually doing something good for the first time. So,
yay!
Yeah. All right, go fire away, Blabs.
Go F the monster says, Blabs, can I get you most flamboyant? Yes, Queen, slay! Bless you. Thank you. Clemson says, you was literally asked for it. I had to do it.
Ghey!
I did my very bestest. Anyway, Clemson member for 12 months is Kongman and Malcolm greater than Mazza. Poor Maz. San Shoryu says, hey, I'm an Asian doctor, lol. Reviewing cases online all day. Thank you for what you do. I think the Halo show was better than the Acolyte. Much love. Yeah, I mean, literally, a lot of things are better than the Acolyte show.
Hey, thank you for your Asian doctoring. Appreciate that. That's great.
Master Gallus says, now I understand why they are blackwashing gingers. Josh says, Malcolm not liking Tartakovsky's Clone Wars is heresy. Yeah, I'm a bit shocked by that. It's usually the opposite. Wolf's Pain says, kyber crystals is a Disney invention. There were a lot of different crystals that were used in lightsabers, but the most popular were Asian crystals. Sorry, I can't pronounce that word. Thank you. Benjathan says, if bleeding was meant to be a thing from the get-go, according to Disney, then Anakin's lightsaber should have been red in Force Awakens. What gives? Yeah, it should have been red after he killed all those freaking children in comparisons to the mood ring lightsaber in the Acolyte. So, I Am Icarus says, series finale of Newhart trying to back to the Bob Newhart show was brilliant.
I need to check that out. I'd be very... I think I remember that, but I'm not quite sure. I Am the Icarus. Thank you very much. Bob Newhart, genius.
Stay-at-home Hippo says, afternoon, chaps, madam. Wanted to clarify, Dave directed the Clone Wars animated movie, and that was horrible. George directed the Clone Wars show and had multiple writers with Dave. Dave Filoni hack. And don't forget, Dave Filoni loves Ahsoka, and then he actually ruined her character. So that's cool.
Okay.
Wolfsbane says, OG Clone Wars was better and more consistent. Mm-hmm. Emperor Creatine says, the moment I saw a TMNT Naruto crossover, I could hear Razorfish screaming in rage all the way from Arizona. One too many weebs asking if they stock Naruto headbands at the comic shop, I guess. Absolutely Rudy says, an Asian Craig, did DEI get to side scrollers? Yes, he's at Korean rooftop.
We bring people on regardless of their race, religion, creed, whatever. We try to be diverse naturally instead of forced.
Mm-hmm. Suna Soul Silver says, stop messing with my childhood, you heretics. Spark says, Craig, can you please get Marix on the show? The guy did an amazing history of gaming video, among others, and you guys would have a great conversation.
Let me see his name real quick. Let me do a quick Google search. MRX
MRI XRT.
XRT. All right, cool.
I'll
check it out.
Benjathan says either Hollywood are bigots or they have dyslexia or both.
Well, I have dyslexia. Oh, by the way, yeah. You know what? This guy, I've seen this guy actually. This guy that you mentioned, he's really good. He has a video called "The Problem with the Game Awards Jury," and I watched that video, doing a little research. But yeah, great stuff.
Kratos look great at this. It says, "I have red in my beard. What's up, my ginger?"
Thanks, Kratos. Good for you.
Kevin says, "I've only dated redheads, and I'm extremely offended."
Redheads are fun.
Ozzy says, "I've watched their videos for you, babe. It's educational."
Hey, good for you. Make sure you watch all 10 minutes of it. Save your life.
Steven says, "Fake milk is definitely heresy." Nick says, "Thank you for once again extending our life expectancy." You're welcome. That's right.
Do what I can, Nick.
A serious man says, "Craig should go down the see-through top educational YouTube rabbit hole like I did a few months ago. They just started showing up in my recommends." Oh my.
Hold on. Pardon me.
Israel says, "Happy Friday at work, working on this CrowdStrike IT issue. Yeah, listening to you guys helps ease the pain. Cheers." Well, I hope your day gets better, but thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
Hardcore mode says, "Sorry, I'm back. I was busy getting educated."
Hey, I hope you got super educated.
Alan says, "Hulk Hogan is a real American hero." Thank you, Alan. And Alan also says, "By the way, I got other streamers saying, Alan, now, Bobs, hail side scrollers. I just want to be the one to say I was the first one to start that. Thank you." Masagawa says, "Lucky for me, they don't care about Filipinos either." Thanks. Spiderbrow says, "Don't forget they're also crying about RE5 getting a remake because my racism." Yeah.
Okay, hold on. This is hilarious. The see-through tops. This is a real thing. I'm sorry.
What?
This
what do you mean see-through tops? Like the chairs are see-through and they're
the tops are see-through. People like doing reviews of it with see-through tops, and they know exactly. These girls know exactly what they're doing. 1000%.
Local video feel for you.
Yeah, sorry.
Young Stove says, "Hey, just a normal living in Rhode Island. Not just a normal living in Rhode Island." I think it means normal man. No,
Yes.
not New York. Also, I'm dropping a flying elbow on Kotaku. Ooh, yeah.
Good for you.
God, look at his avatar. Is that Jeff Goldblum? That's
It
hilarious.
looks like it. Yep.
Vagabundo says, "As a 3/4 N-word, I could say Kongman is right." Thanks, Vagabundo.
Let's go.
Ben Talk sent a super sticker. Thank you very much. Nut Bunny says, "RE cultural appropriation. I have the stance that I can do all of it because I am human, partaking of human culture, so these weirdos can fuck off." Good point. Calm says, "You're using fire? Stop appropriating Cro-Magnon culture." Thanks, Calm. Andrew says, "Before Pol Pot came into power, Cambodia had a thriving rock and roll scene in the 60s and 70s. Thank you. Nightmare Burgers.
I'm sorry. I'm
Stop staring at titties.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at t-shirts that just happen to be see-through.
Cole says, "I had blue hair before 2019, before it became a symbol of mass mental psychosis."
I
And
love
it
you
saddens
guys.
me.
I am so.
I heard that. What are you? Okay.
I'm looking at these videos here. I need to do some research, Blabs.
Right. Nathan says, "These people suffer from what I call unremarkable narcissism. They're so desperate to be famous or leave a mark on history, but have no skills to achieve it, and their egos won't let them see that." Yes, Craig.
How is this on YouTube?
Can you share it like down below so I can see what you're talking about? We can't pull it up, obviously. Alan says, "I am from LA, and the Rooftop Koreans is the most based ass ever." Thank you,
I had
Alan.
no idea this is a thing. This is hilarious.
Norm says, "How much do you want to bet that the DNC had John Cena on speed dial when they heard Hulkster was going to appear at the RNC?" Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Probably.
funny.
Remdog says, "No Rumble rants today, Craig. We will get to every single one of them. Don't you worry."
Every single one.
Cobweb says, "Forbidden West was the woke horizon. Every third character was gay, and they chunked Aloy and blamed the tech while keeping the other characters beautiful." Yeah, that was a big lie. DW Brown says, this works on one WWE Hall of Fame campaigning for another WWE Hall of Famer. I just want Trump's Titantron when he does subsequent appearances.
That'd be funny.
River says, does Blab knows about Captain Lou's Mario arc? Who?
Do you know anything about Captain Lou Albano?
No.
Oh, well, then no, she does not.
Norm says, if the RNC felt like a rock concert, the RNC would probably feel like a funeral. Okay. Rob on Wheels says, it's crazy how people aspire to be victims. Yep. And Kratos for 20 says, shout out to Yo Pops of the GCA, our very own rooftop Korean. You might have met him at the Vegas meetup, Craig. He and Alec Baldwin's finger let us shoot some of their big guns at a range outside of town.
Yeah, man. What a bunch of studs. Bunch of studs over there.
As he says, it's educational blabs. Yes.
That's right. I'm over here trying to get educated.
BLK and Mild says, few things are better for a hangover than bacon, egg, and cheese. What are your post-drinking remedies? Okay, yeah, no, that is good. Banana and peanut butter sandwiches actually help too.
Okay.
My friend actually gifted me a hangover recipe cookbook once, and it was filled with food that I really wanted to make, and I never did. Yet.
I think that's a pretty dang good start right there. Lots of grease, fat, carbohydrates for sure.
Do you know what really helps a hangover though? Water. Just getting into the water, like ever go like wakeboarding and all that. That was clear a hangover. Yeah, and you do some physical activity. For
every drink that you're gonna drink a full glass of water before you go.
I mean actually getting into the water, like doing like water sports and stuff.
No, you'll drown. Fear is the mind killer came into the 10 says Blab should watch Conan the musical. It's hilarious. Thank you very much. Fear is the mind killer. Mercenary says, wish me luck, guys. I am in the courthouse right now, waiting outside the courtroom, and I'm finally going to deal with this guy that attacked me. Also, to Hulk at the RNC, I haven't felt that kind of energy since 80s WWF promos. God, I miss a mercenary. Good luck, buddy. Hopefully it worked out. Autistic Accountant came in with a 10, says, good morning, ladies and gents. Good to see the absolute Shad energy from Mr. Lee and Mr. Collins. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Nestrak came in and says, just want to wish everyone a nice, chill weekend. Well, thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Aiden says, hello. 2 nights ago, I finally made it an hour on the stair machine and my cardio was improved. I started using the treadmill yesterday, so I won't mess up my knees. There you go. Aiden came in and says, speaking of culture, I used to MMA fight for 6 years. I learned Muay Thai and a bunch of other stuff and actually love doing Eastern martial arts and a deep respect for it. Good for you, Asian. Antihero came in with a 10, says, watch Count Dankula's video about the roof Koreans as soon as possible. After that, watch both about Sir Christopher Lee. Thank me later. Thanks, Antihero. Appreciate that. 90 Dragoons came in with the $15 direct donation. Says, if you waste time for an hour, you'll have wasted an hour. If you waste 500 people's time for an hour, you waste 500 hours. The fumble by one company will waste millions of hours. Now consider how many wages will be lost. This is a very real catastrophe. Thanks for that perspective on that. That is accurate and true. Random Nobody says, I could have been told, this is over on Rumble, that Mark Twain said, it's better to remain silent and thought a fool than speak and remove all doubt. Random Nobody, he followed up and says, I've always thought of Short Fat Otaku as a harmless idiot. Now he's a slimy, commie Canadian cocksucker. All right.
Damn.
Life is too short and I'm not going to waste any more on midget, obese, Jap lover. Okay. Jared says, I started watching Kindergarten Cop recently, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I truly believe Blabs will enjoy it too. It's free to watch on Prime for 2 more weeks.
I don't have Prime.
I can make it happen. Mimic Word says we need more complication videos, complication video of all the hot sauce hits. Like a compilation. You said
yep,
compilation.
It's already on the back end.
Yep, it'll be going up here in the next week or so. Bronzonite says, I remember how cool the poster and manual that came with Chrono Trigger were in the SNES. That was an amazing Christmas for us. We played all damn night long. Nice. Dude said, in the EU, the Sith would corrupt the Kyber crystal with the dark side of the Force and turn it red. Just another perversion of what came before. Rimdog says, when it comes up, watch the Bob Newhart SNL sketch in the post office, written by Norm Macdonald. Okay. I think I saw Razor reference that. And Lieutenant Sivers says, Ginger here. Damn those racists. They're erasing my kind.
It's not wrong.
Bronson and I came back with realize lib mindset use. Let's see. Okay. Realize lib mindset use black people are used in ads/media to manipulate and propagandize white folks. Manipulators take advantage of people's goodwill and good nature. All right, Bronson, thank you very much for your support today. Appreciate that. Also, Mad
Master Porky, remember for 1 month, says Craig needs to tell us where those videos are so we can avoid them. Yes.
All I did was Google what that wonderful super chat said to do, and I did on YouTube. And you know what? I discovered a real interesting side of YouTube I didn't think I'd know, and now it's going to be in my history forever.
And in his recommendations.
Okay, so here's what we got tomorrow. Probably on Sunday. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I'm going to see how quickly I can get this video done. Tomorrow, this weekend, we're going to have a video. It's going to be the winners and losers of the week. The top winners and the biggest pussy ass bitches of the week. It's kind of like a fun little video. It should be fun to do. It's going to be the most fun, the most fun. So it's kind of a foray into edited content on the channel, while still kind of being a recap of some of the fun things we talked about this week, talking about the biggest losers and winners of the week. So make sure you guys tune in for that when you guys see it. I don't know what the thumbnail is going to look like. I have no idea. With that said, please tune in and check it out when you guys see it on the channel over the weekend. Hopefully it goes well, and hopefully it's something that can be passed around. With that said, guys, have a great weekend. No.
M Champion for $1.99 says, Happy Normal Guys Month. Oh, hello, Blaps.
Right.
True lies.
We still have two more weeks left in International Normal Man Month, which is good. And John also came in and says, not sure if you know who Technicals is, but he would be a great guest. He's been talking about the hypocrisy in the fighting game community. Oh, interesting. John, do me a favor and send me a message about him. I know you just did, but if
do
you
again.
Do it again. Send me a message on Discord or on Twitter. I'd really appreciate that. All right, guys, have a great day. Remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. I'll see you guys on Monday when we're back at it at 11 a.m. Central Time. Spread the word. Let your friends know we got this thing going on a day-to-day basis. Have a great day, guys. Remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. Blabs, have a great weekend. See you later. Bye-bye.
Fatality.